Welcome to Showmance, the only show on the internet doing deep dives on shows with no depth. This is a special edition we'd like to call Oh. And the reason for that is sometimes after these shows come out, you might find yourself on TikTok like Natalie at 3 a.m, just scrolling, and you come across a little nugget of information. And then you start pulling the thread and everything starts unraveling. And before you know it, you realize Venita got a dirty edit. That's what we're covering tonight on all the crap that we had no idea was going on while we filmed the other episode.
Yeah.
So, hey guys, welcome to Showmance, the edition.
Did you know that Jax has a cocaine addiction?
Oh, yeah.
In retrospect,
I gotta be honest, I don't think that's a moment.
I was just gonna say that was not retrospect for me.
You guys doing that for me was like,
listen,
don't know.
There's many drugs to be done. I didn't know that that was his drug of choice that he was going to come out with and say, that's my addiction. I would say that Jax has many addictions.
That was like the least surprising.
Yeah.
Right. My life, maybe.
Right. No, that's true. But I think that it was just interesting that they would like, why now? Is this a part of the promo for the Valley? Like that's how
it's hooking us in.
Yeah,
I'm already
that's
hooked.
how desperate Jax is to have viewers on him and cameras on his life, is that he is willing to come out and say, I have had not just I have one now, I've had one since Vanderpump. So go back and watch all those. Actually, I don't think they get royalties.
Read your contracts, folks. You licensed your life away.
Okay.
God, that was unnecessary.
Not really.
Kind of coming. This is tough to say. So I am coming out that I'm an addict. I have substance issues, primarily with cocaine. That's hard to say out loud. Yeah, I've been dealing with this for, I think, the last on and off since I was 23. So I'm 45. So give or take, I've been, there was times where I would stop doing it, but then there was times where I'd go heavy on it. I think a lot of people who watched Vanderpump Rules over the years could kind of tell that I was on something.
Like, who thought it was a good idea to ask this guy's opinion?
What was your reaction to Jax coming out this week saying that he had a problem with cocaine and he was 83 days sober from it?
I mean, I think that's amazing. I'm so proud of him. I think that's so awesome. He really seems like he's really been working on himself for real.
For real.
For real this time.
And was that something you were aware of?
Yes, I was somewhat aware of his problems with addiction. I mean, I'm around him. I've been around him over the years, obviously.
The cast was aware?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this not the most ironic, like, confirmation? Like, you're asking Tom Sandoval's opinion on anything that has to do with anything via partying and addiction and just all the bad behavior. And, like, Tom's like, I witnessed it all, right?
Tom Sandoval, you had it right when you said, why are you asking Tom Sandoval anything about anything? Period. That's when you should have stopped.
Should have just stopped
because
there,
he's such a ding dong.
Yeah.
You guys don't watch Traitors, but you should. It's really good.
I know, we're literally, I think, the last people on earth who
It's just a great, fun little hour of TV.
Yeah.
Basically, the faithfuls are trying to snake out the traitors. And everyone in the house has their finger on the person that is actually the traitor. And they're like, okay, tonight we're going to go for, I'm just going to give you random names because I don't want it to get ruined for you. Tonight we're going to go for Jeff. And Tom's like, nah, I know you think that. It's Sally. Literally, Sally is the most faithful person. Everyone knows that she hasn't given one weird tell. And everyone else is right that it is Jeff that's the faithful. And he does it every week. He's wrong every week, but he's so certain of his inaccuracies.
Is he certain, or is he just
Nope.
playing his own game? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Both.
like when he's telling these people that, does he really think he's onto something?
Yeah.
Or is
Oh, yeah.
he just trying to throw people off scent?
No.
No, he thinks
He thinks he's 100% correct.
Yeah.
Like, I went through Sandoval. I know things.
Yeah.
Like, he really believes that he is onto something that no one else is. Like, everyone will be talking about the one person that's actually the traitor. And he's like, have you ever looked at Carol? Because I'm hot on her. And it's like, Carol's not even on the show.
Yeah.
He's like, What are you guys thinking about Tom?
That's exactly right.
No, you're Tom.
I love that when Brittany replies basically to Jax's like shocking confession that he's an addict. She's like, he's really doing the bare minimum about this. So I'm not really sure why we're talking about it. Like that's the essence of what I got from it. Like he's ruined everyone's lives, my son and I being first and foremost. And I don't know, like what's the plan, Stan?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so here for Brittany's
Yeah.
second coming.
Yeah. Oh my God, me too. Who watches The Valley? We got to know who
'cause
watches The Valley. Yeah, no.
Yeah, we're covering that stuff, man.
Yeah, that's coming, and I need to know that that's a thing for everyone. I need it to be everyone's thing.
If you haven't started the show yet, go back, watch season 1. I had a friend of mine who we had a call scheduled for work stuff, and she was like, "Oh, sorry, I was a little late. I had to finish the season finale of The Valley." That's fun to say.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh God, you watch that show?" And she said, "I promise you, it is so good." I said, "Listen, I watch gutter television that I love. Thank you. But even that was a bridge too far for me. I started watching like the first episode, couldn't get through it. She said, "Go back." That was the best advice I got all 2024.
And then I watched it because that's what a man does when his love of his life watches something. You sit there and watch it too.
Yeah, he even watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives to his chagrin. Is that the right?
Much to his chagrin.
Yeah. What does that mean? Chagrin.
Much to his
chagrin. The noun is distress or embarrassment at having failed or been humiliated. So I've never chagrined in my life.
Are the kids still saying that?
The kids never said it.
Yeah, the
probably.
kids never said that. I don't think I'll continue to watch The Secret Lives of the Mormon Wives. Not really my thing.
It wasn't my
I don't
thing
like
either.
I don't like the shows about the wives, the housewives of that. Like we don't need to get into it because I'll probably be
He's kidding.
wrestled into.
That's so funny.
I live for all the shows about the wives, with the exception of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yeah,
Didn't do it for me.
Listen, I'm just saying, you don't tell this audience that you don't like shows with housewives in it. I think you've come to the wrong restaurant.
All right, so we're doing Venita's dirty edit.
Yeah, but was it that dirty of an edit? You'll be hearing this here
Yes.
last because everyone's already talked themselves into the ground about this, but that's going to be the case around here.
Yeah, listen, anyone can come in first. It takes a very special person to come in last consistently.
Yeah, that's one spot. There's a lot of other people for the race to
exactly
last.
right.
And,
like, have you ever tried to board a plane last? It's always like you and one other person.
Yeah, I checked my bags. I don't care.
I don't care. Okay, so apparently Venita went on Showmance and started talking about the fact that she had that like dinner that she had invited JT over for when she's cooking the fish and all the stuff. That happened after they got back from the Bahamas. So the Bahamas stuff and her going to his room and the straddling and all that stuff, that happened first. And so then the reason this to me is such a dirty edit, and they did her in the great words of Rose from The Bachelor, you did me dirty. Bravo did her dirty.
Yeah.
Because
Did Bravo or did she do herself dirty?
no, because she didn't know he was seeing someone until they had that dinner and he told her. So when she knocked on the door, she's thinking he's been flirting with me. He's been, remember she even said like, oh, he's been texting me all this stuff like while she was in the Bahamas, like the day before he got there.
So he didn't, while they were in the hotel room and she straddled him 2 times.
Yeah.
And he removed her 2 times.
Yes.
He never said, I have a girlfriend and that's why I'm removing you and you got to leave.
That's my question too.
Because if he did, then this is on Venita. Because then she invited him over, made him fish, said, I'm not going to ask you out, but I'm going to make it real fucking easy for you to know that you should ask me out. But you knew that you knew. Either way, you knew.
But
if you
hold
did
on.
it before or out, you knew. It's 6 and 1, half
It seems
dozen
like it's
the
the
other.
same exact happenings, even the same verbiage. Like they
Exactly.
have the same exact conversation.
she-
Even with you want this as much as bad as I do. Like you said that twice. Like it was
Twice.
bad enough that you said it once.
And
You
it's-
said it twice.
But it's also fine if you said it and you didn't know he had a girlfriend. Fine. You're my
that's the
best friend.
linchpin
I
in
think I
this.
want to tell
Right.
you.
Did
But
she
then,
say that in the episode in the Bahamas? Did
It
he
seemed-
say-
I
Seemed
think
like
that
it.
well, and he is saying in his interviews, and JT, So I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. So I'm not, and I could probably throw him pretty far. So
Probably.
So I don't know. He could easily be lying. But it seems like, if I'm remembering it right, I feel like in his interviews during that episode of the Bahamas, he is talking about, I've got a beautiful girl on top of me. I got to move her up because I have a girlfriend and I'm in this relationship. And it seemed like they had that basically the exact same conversation that they did over Branzino. So if that is the case, then it seems that it doesn't really matter that this was out of order. But I keep thinking I must be remembering wrong, because why would we need to come out and say all of that if all we have to do is roll the literal episode to find out? And you'd think I would do that now, but I'm not going to.
No, that's literally what I was pulling up to be like, we have to know, because here's the thing. If he said, I had to pull her off of me because I have a girlfriend, that's one thing. If he said, I pulled her off of me because I said, Venita, I have a girlfriend, that's a totally different statement.
Right.
So he could just be saying in his confessional to the producer,
right,
that I did it because I have a girlfriend, but she might not have known.
Right.
I thought
and so that's what I'm wondering, is that
why is he pulling her off? Why twice?
Because sending her all the
kept
texts
pursuing
saying,
it.
I'm into you.
Yep.
And then he pushes her off twice. What other reason would she think that there was that he was doing that?
So he would, if he didn't say it in the hotel room, I have a girlfriend, then he said, I don't want you. Like, I'm a dude. Like, you're either, hey, I have a girlfriend, or yeah, I don't want to be with you.
There's a million ways to get out of that. He could have said, like, listen, like, we need to talk about this more. If we're going to hook up, we're really good friends. He could have just been stalling. There's so many things that he could have said that weren't, I have a girlfriend. I cannot believe that Venita would know he has a girlfriend and she would still be trying to hook up with him, in the sense that she's straddling him multiple times. That just doesn't seem like Venita.
I watched a thing, a reality nightcap, where they had Venita on, and she said that they were dating when the first teaser came out in October. And then they were like, oh, and then he ghosted you? And she was like, sort of. He popped up on Instagram with a girlfriend all of a sudden.
No, because he told her while they were filming that episode where they had dinner, he said, I can't do this with you because I'm dating someone.
If you're hanging out with JT, then who knows what kind of brain you have. But the girlfriend came forward and said,
finally,
Venita met me as Jarrett's girlfriend. That's his name, Jarrett. Who knew?
Jarrett Thomas, right? Something like that.
I have no idea. And also, I don't care. I don't even like you. I don't want to know your name.
Whoa.
Venita met me as Jarrett's girlfriend at dinner with Bunny last April, pre-filming, but I appreciate her trying to save face. Happy to send receipts. That's what she posted on,
I'll tell you another word I'm getting a little tired of. Receipts. A little tired of receipts.
Timelines, screenshots.
Yeah, put receipts up there with triggered and T and all that.
Okay.
Boom. Yeah, so he did say it. Or she said he said it. Great. So.
Okay, wait. Then this makes no sense.
No, it does make sense. Venita's looking for a storyline.
Okay, but now it's dawning on me that if they dirty edited the other thing, is this a interview from back then that they're making it seem like? See now.
Bum, bum, bum. This is where we put in the bum, bum, bum.
No, I love that we have we're doing a show because of the moments that we've had, and we literally just had an organic one, an organic not the good ones.
Otherwise, then it makes no sense. If he told you that he was in a relationship when you were in the Bahamas, which happened first, right? Chronologically, you were in the Bahamas before you made him dinner at your house.
Yeah.
If he told you he had a girlfriend or was in a relationship then why was it some surprise when you had dinner a month later?
Right.
It wasn't. That's why this still isn't making sense.
No. So it would make sense either way. It could make sense two ways. Either she's lying because, like I said, the girlfriend came out and said she absolutely knew. I met her as his girlfriend before they even filmed any of this. And then, or it makes sense that the interview is also part of the dirty edit. It's not like we were thinking about the dirty edit just being that this one event took place after something rather than before. But it could also be that they're also using the interviews as part of the dirty edit. Maybe
Totally.
so like,
Because I do feel like she's wearing the same pink dress in both of the.
I think she is.
Yeah.
This is exactly why Venita is letting us know that how we saw everything happen isn't exactly how everything happened. So just today, Venita posted on her Instagram story, "Let me make something very clear. That dinner JT and I had after I made a branzino was after the Bahamas. Y'all as an audience saw it before. So this week's episode is now making me look like I'm a homewrecker when I'm not. I know what I signed up for, but I also will not allow the world to think I'm that woman when I'm not." Then she says, "Make sure you add this screenshot to all of the Reddit threads, because obviously Reddit and the rest of the internet have a lot to say about how she acted towards JT last episode. And this makes it all make a lot more sense." So the Queens of Bravo Instagram page shared Venita's story as a post, and Sally commented on it and said, "Lil bitch hid his girlfriend all season." And then continued by saying he was showing Venita interest while he hid her. Then Rod, which, remember him, he was on last season, says, "I didn't know we were allowed to do this. Would have made my life much easier." Then responds to another comment and says, "I'm pretty sure we're required to, quote, speak to the edit, but I don't know. I didn't really read my contract." But basically what this is telling me is they probably signed paperwork that says, like, if the edited storyline is different than the actual storyline, you're not really supposed to say anything. But in Venita's case, I don't blame her for saying something. They even showed flashbacks of her and JT's conversation of him saying, "I'm kind of dating someone," and then back to present day of Venita like trying to get with him to make it seem like she knew and she didn't care. Now look, my opinion that nobody asked for, but I'm gonna give it anyways, is that let's pretend that this is actually how it happened. Let's pretend that JT told Venita he was dating someone before they went to the Bahamas. He still invited Venita into his room late at night at a hotel and said, "No cameras." If you have a girlfriend, why are you doing that? Let me know in the comments what you guys think about all of this.
So that was Kate Riccio. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hate this. I'm sorry.
I know, it's so bad.
You can't find the
I
pause
know,
button.
It's so bad.
I bet you so many people are at school trying to pause shit and they're, "I'm sorry." Like,
You shouldn't be watching your phones at school.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Now you can't
yeah.
get away with it anymore because it's too, like, well, they probably can because they probably still have like good eyesight and stealth fingers. Whereas I'm like,
Old.
anyway.
What were you going to say, Mike?
I don't know.
Well, you had something.
Like, whatever, all you ladies can tear me up for this one, like it's the man talking, but like, if Venita found out before she knocked on his door late at night, then this one is like, how dare JT let her in? How dare you go up there and knock on the door in the middle of the night in your cute little PJs with no shoes on, your painted nails, looking cute as hell? If you knew, what are you doing? Then you go to the room. Again, maybe a dirty edit, but you said that he told you there in the room he had a girlfriend, to get off him, he's trying to date this girl. So, cool. Then you go to his house you invite him to your house to make you dinner. So like, and you have a conversation. So she did the same thing that you're bitching about JT. Well, how dare you invite her over? Well, she invited him over after she knew and made dinner and talked about it and was like, you want this as bad as I do. And she already knew. So like, listen, Venita, I get your story. Get your boyfriend on the reality show. But like, I don't know if you're.
The only way Venita has a leg to stand on for me personally is if that moment where she said in the confessional from the Bahamas, where he says, "I can't do this. I am supposed to be in this relationship." If that was her talking about their dinner and they used it for the Bahamas section, then she needs to clarify that, because right now it's exactly the same. We've had two scenes that are basically the same.
Yeah.
You knew he was in a relationship and you were trying to be with him anyways. It doesn't matter if they flip-flop the scenes, because the way it's coming across is that you knew that he was in the relationship.
Totally.
Which is not a.
Which isn't a dirty edit.
It's not a dirty edit.
Right.
That's just
the
an
only
edit.
thing that if we're doing like a point system of like, okay, this makes it look this way, but that makes it more like that would make sense. the fact that she does tell us basically the same story with the same verbiage of the you want this as bad as I do, and then he told me he is supposed to be in this relationship, so I took my cue. Like, I feel like they were so similar that, like, I mean, did you let the exact same thing happen twice? You know, so I'm open to it being like they didn't just, the event wasn't just used in the wrong part of the show, but also the interview portion was also used. But I don't know, and
she needs to clarify that part.
She needs to
quite
clarify
frankly.
that part.
Apparently
It's weird
she's-
that she didn't,
Well,
because that's a point on the other side. You would have said, and my interview too, because if you're going over your contract, if you're going outside of your contract, you know you're supposed to speak to the edit. Like, that's a whole part of the gig, and I get that. We don't like it, but like, show business, baby. Then you needed to really take every opportunity to get every single thing out on the table if you were going to do that.
you're going to get fired and
Yeah,
you didn't
go out
even
swinging.
explain everything
Yeah.
correctly.
She should have said, to be clear, I had no idea that he was seeing someone when I went to his room in the Bahamas. And to be even more clear, the dinner that happened was after we got home from the Bahamas. And that's when I found out he had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
That would clarify
And those
everything.
interviews are from
But
beforehand.
then the
too.
dinner was edited fishy as well.
Pun
See what I
intended, because
did
she
there?
cooked fish.
Because after he was like, I have this girlfriend and I can't do this, and you wouldn't respect me if I was in bloody blah. Like, again, this could be an edit, but like she was still like, okay, you know, you want this as bad as I. Like, she still pursued it. After,
Okay,
Which again,
at the house. Yeah.
nobody who wants JT as bad as anything.
I know.
I mean,
But hold on. This, just let's play devil's advocate a little bit. Yo, your favorite role, Mike. If she goes to his room in the Bahamas and he, or like, you know, calls him up and he says, yes, come up here. He doesn't let the cameras in. Clearly they're flirting. They're being a little bit physical, right? And he says, I'm just painting one version of the story. And if he says,
Isn't
no,
that
like,
what
we
got
can't-
us in trouble in the first place? Isn't that why we're here?
painting a version of the story.
Yeah.
Well, then we're yes, because that's what we always do. But
We're never going to stop doing that. That's why this show exists.
we're hypothesizers.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't be bogged down with all the facts while we're
Why let the
coming up
truth
with our
get in the way of a good
conspiracies.
story?
Yeah, exactly.
If the editors
weird.
aren't worried about the facts, we aren't worried about the facts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she goes to the room. They're clearly being physical. They're flirting. He's like, no, we can't do this. They're having a little bit of a cat and mouse game. She goes, what happens? I straddle him. He says no. He's saying, well, I'm feeling down and out. I wish that I could, do this, but I can't. But he's not being clear with her, but she really likes him. So then the next morning it was kind of a nothing burger, right? Nothing happened, but they still were playing that cat and mouse game. And then she invites him over to have dinner. And he says, we can't do this because I have a girlfriend. And she's like, whoa. You know, you want this as bad as I do. You were in that room with me when we were flirting and doing all this stuff, because for whatever reason, I remember her being very surprised when he said to her in that dinner, I have a girlfriend. It seemed like it was the first time she was hearing it.
Totally, because then
No?
she calls Leva afterward, and even Leva was like, he has a girlfriend, which now I feel like if the girlfriend is, who's telling the truth? There's literally 3 stories here, because JT is caught in a bad spot too, because he's allowing all these things to happen. And Venita says that she has text messages from him, which now she suddenly can't find, which is a little odd.
Exactly.
That is
Yeah.
weird.
We had somebody left a comment. I should give credit to the commenter, because I wouldn't have even, I didn't catch that. See, it's really all encompassing here. We rely
teamwork.
on a lot. Yeah, it's
teamwork
really
around
team
here.
Thanks,
effort. Yeah,
Thanks
it's a
for being our
This
producers.
is a show op, and we rely on the Showbiz kids.
It's a co-show because it's
co-show.
a collaborative. It's a collaborative show.
So another thing that is very weird is that she says that they dated for 2 months, but they never hooked up. We went to dinner every night. We hung out every day, talked every day, but we never hooked up. We were trying to see if we liked each other. That's called a friendship.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be rude, because everybody can take things as slow as they want to, but I just don't think I've ever heard in my 29 years of life that somebody was dating who never kissed. I mean, I guess depending what hookup means, is hookup? Well, I guess that's where it could be a question mark. Is hookup having
now
sex,
the
or is
kids,
hookup?
hookup on nowadays is
It's
humping.
sex.
We used to call it humping back in my day.
When I was in high school, it was like making out and like behind a tree in the orchard
making
down
out?
at a levee.
Whoa, guy.
Okay, wait.
Farm
Real
girl.
quick. I have something I feel like we should all watch really quickly. And she is wearing the same pink dress.
Yeah,
in
I think that's
the
like
interview.
her. Yeah, so it would be easy for that to happen, but not even a but. Just this is now we've got the girlfriend in the mix saying she definitely knew about me. We met before all of this happened. I was with Jarrett and his mother, Bunny.
Do you remember Bunny had said, Venita's the one that I like?
Yes.
So it is possible that JT, like, yes, was he dating his now girlfriend? But he could have been dating a few people. Like when you are dating, when you are out in the world dating and you don't have one significant other,
Yeah.
it's not weird to have gone on a date with her on Thursday night, gone out with Venita on Saturday night, especially if he's not hooking up with Venita, which is weird, but okay, do what you want. To me, like, again, that sounds more like friendship than it does an intimate relationship. However, yeah, maybe Venita knew, oh yeah, I knew he was like also seeing this girl and there was also another girl that he was seeing. So it wasn't like a serious one-on-one
Right.
monogamous relationship. That's how the girlfriend is saying it. And it might not have been that way. I'm not,
Right,
I
yeah.
believe women. I'm not saying that I don't believe her. I'm just saying that there's 3 different versions of this story. So clearly,
This would also explain Venita going back even when she knew it, because when he does finally be like, no, and she's like, okay, I didn't realize it was that serious.
Yes,
right? So
exactly.
it could be like a thing where they're all having dinner, like you're saying. And then Venita's like, all right, I'm going to press and get this guy to choose me. And she presses and he doesn't choose her.
I think Mike just cracked the code.
Bam. That's like 3
have to-
times tonight.
We have to watch this scene, but this is what it is. He was probably dating around with a few different people. It was not
Because
monogamous.
JT's like a pretty baller, pretty pimpy, got
Hundy
total,
P.
right?
So he's dating a few different people. Venita knows that this girl's in the mix, but it was nothing monogamous. And because JT kept flirting with her so much, saying like, I'm really into you. All the things that she was saying, he was texting when she was in the Bahamas. Bunny saying, Venita's my favorite, meaning like you're dating a bunch of girls and I wish you would land on Venita. So because he's throwing out all those signs, she goes to his room that night. He turns her down and she's like, oh, okay, like that's weird because you've been sending me all these signals. She's throwing one more shot across the bow when she invites him over for dinner. And that's when he says, I have a girlfriend. And she's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Then why are you even doing this? Why are you jerking me around like that?
Right.
Let's watch this really quickly because I'm desperate to see if we're right.
This makes no sense. Okay, you got to pause that because here's the thing. I didn't know. I mean, am I crazy here? Are we feeling like this is something, right? Oh, I thought so, but I didn't know if I was crazy. If this happened after Vegas, you straddle him twice in his hotel room. Like there was
The
nothing.
pajamas.
Huh?
Bahamas.
The pajamas.
Where did I say?
Vegas.
Vegas.
Same thing. Bahamas, the Vegas of the sea.
Yeah, that's called a Freudian
Oh, yeah,
slip.
because there's
The
yeah,
Vegas
because I
of
think
the
maybe the
sea, that's
casino
funny.
thing is making me think it's Vegas. But like, what? Like,
This is why Mike's theory is the closest thing to the truth, I think.
I can't remember what it is.
Mike's theory.
It was closest to the truth. That's what it was.
Like
Alright.
JT's dating around, right? Clearly him and Venita are flirting. He's sending Venita these text messages, right?
Okay.
Then in the Bahamas, she goes up to the room to hook up. He says, yes, come up. And I think she probably goes to make a move. And he's like, no, we can't do it.
If I just sorry,
Yep.
real quick, because it's come up a couple times. I do think at the dinner table, when everyone was railing on JT and they got in the big fight and Venita didn't stand up for him, I feel like I remember a scene where he was like, we need to talk. Like, and it was more like she didn't come to my, like, she just sat there quiet. So like, I don't know if her going up to the room was so much of like, hey, come up to my room, or her being like, giggle, I'm going to go to his room in my cute little PJs. Obviously, that was part of it because she did go to his room in her cute little PJs. You know it, Venita. But they left that dinner. Or he left that dinner, I believe, if I remember correctly, saying something along the lines of like, "We need to talk later."
Yeah. No, that absolutely happened. But the big moment that happened in that room was them coming close to hooking up and him basically thwarting her.
Right.
And then in Venita's confessional, she's like, JT said, I have a girlfriend.
Yes. Okay.
And that makes no sense because Venita is telling us in this tweet or whatever it was, this social media post, that the Bahamas happened first and their dinner happened second. He tells her, we just watched the scene. He tells her in this scene where they're having dinner that I have a girlfriend.
Right.
And she's looking surprised. She didn't know that.
Right.
And he said, "I have this girlfriend."
I'm
Right, Ryan
seeing
did?
someone.
Yeah. But also in this same scene, though, to which she's also saying in this same exact scene, the verbiage that we're talking about, that's weird, is him saying, I'm seeing this person, and she's surprised. Well, in the same scene, she's also saying, are we feeling the same thing? I didn't know if I was crazy. Like, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know. If they've already been in the Bahamas, then they've already like.
No, but he
had,
rejected
like,
her.
Right. But like she's acting in this scene like they're both acting as if nothing has ever happened before. Sure, rejection, but it wasn't like a, hey, are you interested in grabbing dinner one night? And him like
totally.
Like there was physical contact.
Yes.
2 different times, which like other things have to happen for a straddling to happen. You don't just go straight into a room and plop down and get pushed off and then plop down again.
Yeah, that's another thing.
So,
like if you're pushing a
this.
girl off of you because you don't want to hook up with her, or you have a girlfriend, or you don't want to lose your best friend, or whatever those. Take out all the reasons. If you're pushing a girl off of you in a hotel room, she's leaving. I would imagine the girl's going to be like, "Oh my
God.
God,
Especially
I'm out of here."
Same.
Yeah, because I think I'd probably give it a couple more tries, but after like the 5th try, I would go home.
We're talking about women, dudes.
Yeah.
You got to push them off at least 17 times before they leave.
Yeah, that's a little creepy, but
Oh, you think it's a little creepy? I hadn't thought of that before.
no, you made
I've been
it sound
creeped
creepy.
out my whole life.
When I do it, it's fun.
I didn't mean you. I'm just saying, like,
In general.
it's funny that it took you this many years to go, that seems a little creepy when we're like, yeah, it's
No
been
shit,
creepy since I was
Sherlock.
14.
Yeah. Ever heard that saying, no means no? Okay.
So here's the other thing that doesn't make any fucking sense, though. This is all bullshit.
For her to say in this confessional at the dinner scene that we know that happened after the Bahamas, I won't say that I knew he had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I knew he was like talking to someone.
Right.
In her confessional after the Bahamas, we just watched it. He said, I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
So the math doesn't math.
Well,
for
no.
who? Like now I see, like this is such a weird whole edit that like I don't even know where we're
think
at
I'm
now.
right.
Like
I don't mean
what
to
is
be a
all
dick,
this
but I think
leaning?
No,
I'm
you
right.
are right.
Because the thing that you're talking about, that could be just some editing, right? Because she's in the same thing.
Yep.
It could be after the dinner. She's like, I didn't know. Like I knew he was seeing somebody, but I didn't know he had a girlfriend. Whatever. I think my thing I think he was just seeing this girl. Like, cause like also Venita, there's clearly pictures on Instagram. You don't follow your best friend on Instagram? Like, so you didn't, like, clearly you knew about this girl. The girl says she knew about the girl. Venita says, I knew about the girl.
No, he wasn't posting about the girl when they were filming the show.
So when are those Instagram posts from, you think?
She says,
Doesn't matter.
There's
Okay.
another clip of her where she says, we're dating, we're going out to dinner every night,
Listen.
dating when they're not actually. And then she says, I start getting blown up on Instagram by this girl, and I'm like, hey, can you handle this? I don't need this. Can you handle this? And he's like, nothing I can do about that. Do you answer nothing I can do about that if you've been like truthful? Like that, I would say that like if I'm hooking up with you and you have a girlfriend and your girlfriend comes after me and I'm like, can you do something about this? And you're like, nothing I can do about that. Right. Because that's your girlfriend. So it's just like, this is a very...
Yeah, but I think, like, again, the timeline of it all is wonky. We never know. But I think that JT was seeing this girl. He
Yeah.
was seeing Venita, or they were having dinner,
Yeah.
and maybe they started talking and being like flirty, a little more flirty, and a little more like, something's happening here. Maybe he's seeing another girl. And in that, right, in the Bahamas, after the Bahamas, right, during that time, girl A, brown-haired girl, becomes girlfriend, right? Maybe he doesn't tell Venita because oh shit, things have been weird. Like we're just trying to flirt. Like, how do I tell my best friend that I have oh God, now she's on top. We can't do this. We'll get back home. Hey, let's talk. I'm going to have dinner. Come over. I'll make you dinner, but let's try to talk about this again. And he's like, I got this. We're girlfriend and we're boyfriend and girlfriend now. Right.
That's exactly what I think.
And
happened.
she's like, expecting that, no, I'm going to win, right? Because I'm Venita and look at me, and rightfully so. But so she's just a little stunned to hear that she just is about to take a L on camera. B, oh, you guys are boyfriend and girlfriend? Really told me, like, yes, I'm trying to say I'm having feelings, but like also we're friends, like really close. So I think that was her face. That was the whole realization. That's where things got wonky, is she was just like, cool, all right, bro. I didn't know you guys had the conversation. My bad. I'll step off.
And to come full circle, if that is indeed what happened, she did get a dirty edit.
Yeah.
Because they used that line from the dinner confessional after the Bahamas, insinuating she knew twice that he had the girlfriend and she didn't.
One other tiny discrepancy that just because it's just kind of funny. Because it's just kind of funny that if that happened after the Bahamas, that interview also includes her saying, I'm sticking up for him. I'm standing up for my friend. I don't come and protect someone and do this for just anyone. And I want to be like, Venita, you didn't.
At all.
You weren't helpful. You gone fishing.
I really do feel like we cracked this case, and I hope that they touch on it at the reunion. And
I think
JT
they will.
won't be there to defend himself because he ushered himself off the show.
We don't know. I bet you a surprise visit. Also, if the podcasting thing doesn't work out, I know maybe I can be a private investigator.
Oh God,
I'll be finding those cheaters.
Someone said,
oh my God, I love ZB.
Well, hands off.
I do read ZB.
She's on a different team. So you guys know.
What do you mean on a different team?
She switched teams. She's on my team now.
Oh, but I can still love her.
Yeah, this
That's
week.
sweet of you.
Yes, I'm
Till you say
bipartisan,
some dumb
Natalie.
shit next week.
I know, that's the thing. CB is so level-headed that like I know that like I have to come correct if I'm going to keep her around.
You know how they say it's country over party? It's pod over person.
Yes.
I'm here for the pod.
I think Venita's placement in the show is very shaky, and she is aware of that. Hardly anyone films with her on a one-on-one basis except Madison and Leva, because those two are the only people who are friends with her in real life. So they're always throwing her a lifeline for camera time. So because her place is shaky, she ends up not defending people who go against the veteran cast members. And I think she does that because she doesn't want to rock her very shaky position on the Southern Charm boat. So
I agree with that.
I think that everybody kind of teams up like with we're stronger in numbers, you know, like if you know that Austin, Craig, and Shep are like gold, no one's touching them, that's that, like you're going to find the other person that like is also kind of the same like status year-wise as you are, and it's an alliance. It's like on Real World Road Rules.
Yeah,
Let's form an alliance.
Survivor.
Yeah. Bad alliance. You learned your lesson, I think.
And that's just not that's just life, right? That happens in the corporate world, on TV shows, everywhere.
Yeah.
At church, at Satan camp.
Satan camp. So Taylor, my favorite, was on Nick Viall, and she's hinting at a move to
New York.
Southern Hospitality.
Whoa.
Well, she pops up on there every once in a while. She's TJ's friend.
Right.
So you think it might be done?
I don't know.
Would you jump ship to Southern Hospitality?
That would make more sense. I do actually hang out with those people. Those are people I've known for a very long time, even before they started Southern Hospitality. You know, I knew TJ and Brad and Emmy and Will and all of them, so it would make more sense.
Talk to me about TJ.
Yeah.
He seems real toxic to me.
He likes to stir a pot. Gaston was his roommate for a year and a half.
A year and a half?
Are you super close with Emmy and Will as well? Because your name got brought up last episode with TJ
TJ and Emmy having a little confrontation.
Yeah, I've known Emmy and Will. I know Emmy better just because when we started to get to know each other, we were actually in London with Will and Emmy.
So there was more to that interview, and I thought that this clip that I saved would show that part. But when she's just talking more about Southern Hospitality, and she talks about how she wasn't planning on coming back to Southern Charm this year. She only came back to make it right with the girls because like she had so many which is like, okay, I buy a tiny bit of that, but I also think like the paycheck doesn't hurt. I mean, you're several seasons in at this point. I'm like, you're no longer making the bare minimum. I'm sure you're making a good chunk. And I also don't think anybody really wanted to film with her. So I think there's a plethora of reasons like why she's in the position that she's in. Have you watched any of Southern Hospitality
Not
yet?
yet.
I think that she would actually do well there. But what I'm curious about is if
Who would
like
she date?
I feel like Gaston would be, because if those are his friends too, like he would probably be much more open to actually showing himself, and like they could have an actual story arc of like a relationship arc, as opposed to if he's not going to come on Southern Charm because he's just like knows that like these guys are never going to accept him, and he's always going to just be the little shipbird on the show that everyone, makes into whatever he is, which I don't care if they do. As far as I know, he is that. Yeah. But
I think that's the only like whatever, it might not be a problem, but that everyone on that show works at that place. The only one that doesn't used to and just doesn't anymore. You know what I mean? Like, what does Taylor do?
Doesn't she work for like a seltzer company or
Daydreamer or Day Sailor?
Day
or
Chaser or Sun Soaker? Soaker.
I don't know if it's
Day Drinker.
I don't know if it's a thing though anymore because she didn't talk about it at all this season.
What I was curious about is this a discussion? Like, is she bringing this up because like you go on these shows and you kind of just do some level of promotion for something. You start talking about it. It hasn't been announced yet. They're still in talks. Ink's not dry. Or I wonder, is this her way of just initiating the conversation with Bravo? Just like going on a podcast and being like, ask me this. Just would be an interesting thing. Just my little conspiratorial mind going like, how does that work? She's also on there talking a bunch of shit about Sally. And it's just so funny because at some point she's like, and I never talk about her. And then she goes, I know I'm talking about her right now, but like, I don't ever really talk about it. But she's literally talking the entire like intro down, and Gaston's there. He's not on the show, but Nick references, him, and so he like you hear him talking in the background, so he is there with her.
Taylor is the epitome of let it go, ho.
Let
the Shep stuff go, let the Sally stuff go, let it all go.
Because Sally's also on the Page 6 reality with these two dudes. She says that like her and Taylor are not in a good place, have nothing to do with each other, does not know, as long as she's with Gaston, probably never will be able to get to a better place. She said she always wanted to be, she tried to be, she thought there was a moment for it, but it just like not happening. She said that she went to the reunion, basically said nothing to her, and then she said that Taylor chased her down in the airport on the way home and like let her have it there. And Sally says, where was all this energy at the reunion? Like she wanted to, the take is that she wanted to be the demure, girl that she's been all season, just kind of hanging back and not like probably just part of her redemption arc as well. But then the second that there's no cameras there, she lets her have it in the airport. And she's like, that was interesting. Anyway, so there's that. And Sally mentioned that it's like a thing in the cast where people tell Taylor, like, we don't want to hear about Sally anymore. She said Rodrigo even is one of them that is like, okay.
Yeah, let it go.
Let it go, ho. Okay, I want to just show you that Jesse Solomon is in Australia right now, and he had a allergic reaction, and basically him and his girlfriend now look like siblings. Look at his lips. They look just like Bun Buns.
Yeah,
they look like
Lexi.
Bun Buns buns.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to save this for tomorrow because we're recapping Summer House and Southern Charm tomorrow, per usual. And And we're going to talk about all the stuff, obviously, with Kyle and Paige and Craig, that whole debacle. This was about Craig investing in a seltzer company. I thought it was about Craig doing a sponsored post.
And I thought it was about an OnlyFans.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody knew. This is like a mini for us because like Natalie said, we're going to get into it more tomorrow night, the seltzer v. seltzer stuff. But I literally thought Kyle was pissed that he did a sponsored Instagram post for this seltzer company. Turns out he's mad that he invested in it.
Yeah. Hannah was the post, I think. And so I think
no, Hannah was on a podcast. And she was talking about how the reason she was kicked off the show was because
she did an ad, a sponsored ad.
Oh, yes, yes.
I think that's where it might have come from, because I can't figure out how else we conflated, how else we started talking about a sponsored post or an ad. That's the only thing I can come up with, is that it was Hannah's story, not Craig's.
I almost wonder, because I saw like in Paige's text thread or whatever, or she was showing like the rage texts. And then I feel like someone cut to the picture of Craig with the seltzer, the can of seltzer.
Yeah.
And so I think
I
was just drawing my own conclusions that it's like, oh, it's a sponsored Instagram post. Either way, because I'm the only one in this room that has seen last night's episode.
Yeah.
I will say I still, whether it was a sponsored post or an investment, I still am kind of feeling the same way. But it's very good to know that, oh, no, he invested in
it makes it, now there's actual real stake in the game.
Yes.
Like literally there's stake in the game.
Yes.
I'm a stockholder.
Correct.
Okay. So then we'll be back
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or the next day.
No. Well, I won't edit it for like 5 days.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as fast as this one can edit.
Yeah. Like, when is this even going to go out into the world?
When is this going to go out into the world? Probably a day before the rest. So probably be all about the same time.
Well, lucky you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.